bangs, and we were thinking, okay, that something obviously is happening. We thought that this was going to come to an end, and then we quickly saw the smoke, and then we saw the flames just erupt from this home. And to think about where this home was, just, I'm looking at this house right now, and 2 hours ago, it was standing. You could see a roof. You could see this house, and now it is nothing. It is charred, it is rubble, and the roof is gone. And it is mind-blowing to think just how quickly the fire basically destroyed this home in less than an hour. And again, we've seen surprise police here on scene as well, trying to do their best to try to save that home, but right now it just looks like it's a complete loss.
Jonathan, we don't want to keep you if you're going to go to a briefing, and I know that the police are doing the best they can to keep everyone updated on the situation. Hats off to the surprise police and to the fire departments, the multiple agencies that are on the scene of this blaze. This is some video from earlier when the house first started burning, and to Tram's point, you can see just how intense those flames are. And so you look at this and you wonder, how did this start? Was it some sort of an explosive round, a tear gas round, a flashbang fired into the house to flush the father out? Or, to Tram's point, did he put some sort of accelerant or incendiary device and let it go, knowing that he was surrounded by police and there was really no escaping? But those are all questions that will be answered by police in the coming hours that unfold. Do you know, Jonathan, because we don't want to keep you from that update, do you know what time the next update is scheduled?
I think we just got an update at 4 o'clock. 4:30. So we just got an update that we're going to get another update from Surprise Police at around 4:30 this afternoon. Again, a lot has changed, obviously, since we were able to talk with them at 2 o'clock this afternoon. They provided us the very latest on how the scene was unfolding. They let us know that they still had a number of officers here, a number of resources here from a number of different agencies from across the valley, working to try to bring this to a peaceful resolution. You know what? Actually, again, I was talking with that neighbor who just moved into the house, moving into this neighborhood this weekend, and she mentioned something to me that it just really stuck with me as she was saying it, just about how this entire scene unfolded with a 6-month-old child. There was a child who was shot multiple times at the hands of their own parent, and it was something that she could not fathom. And it's something that really, obviously as a parent, it hits home just about the violence and the chaos that happened here today with this scene. And your heart just breaks for the mother of a 6-month-old baby now having the task of sitting by a hospital bed, hoping and praying that their child makes it through just a violent, horrific act that really just did not need to happen. And it really is painful to hear those words from another parent and to just see the violence that has unfolded here this afternoon, listening to the details. It really is just a horrible scene and really painful to watch this entire scene unfold this afternoon.
Yeah, you really can't imagine, how she could have felt having to escape that house, still having her 6-month-old child, her baby, inside that house
with
the father who had a gun, who shot that baby multiple times. I mean, it just gives you chills. Jonathan, I know we mentioned earlier when Mark had asked you if there was some kind of restraining order, we didn't know, but we keep referring to the mother and the father. Do we know anything about their relationship? I mean, were they married? You had mentioned earlier that the father had broken to that home, so that makes us believe that maybe perhaps obviously they were, not living together, that they were estranged. What more of that relationship can you tell us?
So Surprise Police can give us a whole lot of information other than to say that the father of the home did not live here. So it may have seemed that they may have been estranged or no longer together, but Surprise Police did say that the father did not live here and that the mother along with that 6-month-old baby, did live here at the home. We don't know how long they may have been estranged or how long they may have been separated, or if he lived here at one point, then left, or their relationship may have ended. But we do know that, again, there are a number of new homes in this area that are still being built in this particular community and in this subdivision. Again, we can't say how long that relationship may have been or how long it may have ended, but we do know for a fact that, according to Surprise Police, the dad did not technically live here, and that the home did belong to the mother of that 6-month-old baby, and the baby were also living here at the home as well.
Jonathan, from the point you arrived, I know you heard what sounded like explosions. Did you hear any gunshots?
I can't say whether or not we actually heard them. Like I said, we did hear some bangs. We don't know if that were, flash bangs being fired by a number of the SWAT team members, or if that may have been police. But we do know that when police did breach that garage door this morning, one of the things that they did tell us is that when they went inside of that home and they rescued the baby and brought it out, that they did not make contact at all with the baby's father. They did not see him. They did not fire any rounds at him when they went inside of that home. So earlier today, we know for a fact, at least according to police, that no shots were fired by them toward the father of the child when they went inside after hearing those gunshots and finding the child shot multiple times. Surprise Police say that at no point when they went inside, breaching the door, did they fire any shots at the father of that 6-month-old baby. They say that they didn't have contact with him. They literally went inside, saw the baby had been shot, grabbed the baby, rushed out of the house, and took it to an area where it was then airlifted to the hospital, where the baby is now getting treatment.
So presumably the man had had left the baby after the shooting and run to another part of the house when police came in.
As far as we know, Mark, that is one of the questions I had for Surprise Police, because you hear that obviously this man is armed. He has just shot his child, and you have to ask, well, why is he not in custody? Where is he at? Were you able to come into contact with him? One of the things that Surprise Police told us was their main priority and their main focus at that particular point was, once they heard those gunshots, they needed to get inside of the house to grab the baby, get it out to safety as quickly as possible. So at that particular point, they say they weren't focused on the dad, even though he was armed, but they did not come into contact with him at any point when they breached the door initially to go inside of the home to grab the baby and get it out to safety. They say at some point they did not see the dad, so they didn't have an idea on where he could be in the house. They didn't see him, but again, their main priority, their main focus, according to Surprise Police, get inside of the house, grab the baby after hearing those gunshots, and get the baby to safety as quickly as possible.
And it's interesting, Jonathan, as you relay all that information of how this all unfolded, it's interesting to note, as we've been covering this since our 1 o'clock show, even though it happened before 11 o'clock. And throughout that half hour, you could definitely see a very tense situation with the front garage door being just destroyed by the SWAT team. You had, teams from the backyard, the front yard, to the side of that house. And we even saw officers with their guns drawn, aimed towards the house. So, we don't know at exactly what point that they were able to get that baby out. But it's interesting, to your point, Jonathan, that their number one priority was not to take or apprehend the father inside the house. It was to get that baby out of that house, out of danger, as the mother was still waiting, frantically wondering how her baby was at that time, and just how tense that situation must have been, and what those negotiators must do in a high stakes situation like that.
There must be some sort of a standard operating procedure when there's a victim involved, whether it's an infant or if he had shot the mother,
Right.
to rescue those people, get them the medical care they need
Right.
before you deal with
The suspect.
the suspect.
Right.
Jonathan, I don't know if you can
Yeah.
see it, but
And you know what,
go ahead.
Mark and Tram. I was just going to tell you, Mark and Tram, you know, if you talk to any police officer, they will tell you that one of the most dangerous scenes that they will ever respond to, one of the most dangerous calls they'll ever go on, are domestic violence calls, because every moment, every second is just, it's very emotional, it's high impact, and things can change in a matter of seconds with so many emotions involved in those particular scenes. Law enforcement will tell you that those are some of the most dangerous calls that they will go on as well. But I will tell you, to their point, Surprise Police tell us that it is typically their standard operating procedure for them. Once they sensed that danger, once they heard those shots being fired, as I said earlier, nothing else mattered for them but getting inside of the home and getting to that 6-month-old baby who had been shot, that they found shot multiple times inside of the home. Again, they didn't make any contact with the dad. They didn't see the dad. According to Surprise Police, they had no contact with the dad at all. They did not come into, they didn't see him face to face. They didn't engage with him. They didn't fire any shots. So their priority really was to get inside of that home, find that victim, and get out. And then, you know, kind of let the scene unfold. And at the same time, the baby is out of the home, and at the same time, law enforcement is okay as well, because obviously for them, you know that the man inside of this home is armed. And again, according to Surprise Police, no officers fired any shots in this incident. Again, their main priority, their main focus, getting inside of the home, grabbing that 6-month-old baby, and getting out as quickly as possible. And according to Surprise Police, whatever they practice for and whatever their standard operating procedure is, it worked. According to them, it worked perfectly, because again, that is one of the questions I had for them. Was, you go inside, you know that this guy is armed, why not go search for him? Why not look for him inside of the home? And their response to me was, that is not what we do. We heard those gunshots. We knew that there was a victim. We went inside. We did not make contact. We were not engaged with that suspect. We found that baby, and we got out as quickly as possible. So according to Surprise Police, despite the scene and how it unfolded and the end of how it unfolded, they say that their training and what they normally practice for worked well in this particular situation today.
And thank goodness there were not any injuries to anybody else involved in this situation. And, you know, it's also interesting to note, too, that firefighters have been on the scene for at least the past 30, 40 minutes or so, and they are still trying to put out flames from that house. Which,
and look,
again,
and there's damage to the adjacent house, to the roof, and I don't know if that's smoke damage or structural damage. We'll find out in the coming hours. But hats off, they quickly were able to go defensive on this fire, and keep the house adjacent to it from getting involved in this, because they are literally next to each other. So on a day where the wind is blowing and it's as hot as it is, we know that embers can fly. The flames here were very intense when this fire first started. At some point, we'll roll some more video for you to look at. If you're just joining us now, the fire is just about out. There's still some flames visible, but about 45 minutes ago, this fire was just roaring, and it easily could have jumped to an adjacent house. So hats off not only to the police for going in and risking their lives to rescue this baby, but also to the fire agencies that have responded to this to keep this fire from spreading and keeping it confined to this one house. And then as you look at the shots and the video from overhead from Sky 12, these are live pictures right now, by the way, and we'll always try to let you know if you're watching at home when we're looking at tape from a little while ago or when we're looking at live pictures. This fire has gutted the entire house. It wasn't confined to just one space. Literally, the whole house is gone, which leads to a lot of questions.
Yeah, it seems suspicious, you know, so there's a lot more to this, obviously. And if we take a look at some video that was shot earlier when this house just erupted in flames. I mean, this was something that you could see off the freeway. It was so bad, which again makes you think if there were any other accelerants or incendiary devices to make that house blow up, really, like it did. And from a firefighter's point of view, you know, when the situation is really bad, they move into a defensive mode where they are not going to be offensive, where they are attacking,
There was
from within, from within the house. They go back because it is so dangerous, it is so hot. They don't want to, risk their lives to get too close. And so they will move back to a defensive mode and try to attack those flames from the air.
And to keep it from spreading to other homes, which they did a phenomenal job at. I said we were going to identify older videotape. That was older with those active flames. This is the scene now, and you can see that this home is a total loss. If you're just tuning in this afternoon, we've been covering what has turned out to be just a terrible story of a domestic violence incident. A man broke into his estranged wife or girlfriend's home. She had a 6-month-old baby inside. He wound up shooting this child multiple times. The woman was able to get out, call 911. Police responded, and when they heard the gunshots, they breached the home. They were able to rescue this child. The child was airlifted to the hospital where that child is in serious condition. We'll hopefully get an update in a little while on that baby's condition, and praying that this child survives. Both mom and baby at this point are at the hospital. We don't know the fate, though, of the man who broke into this house, who apparently, and we have no reason to believe that it's not the case, was inside when this fire started. And that's where we are right now. The house is a total loss. We don't know if that man started the fire or if one of the rounds designed to flush him out might have started the fire, but either way, the house is gone. And you can see some damage to the adjacent house. And thankfully, the fire agencies that responded were able to keep that other house from suffering even more damage.
And we also know that the mom, who is also with her 6-month-old baby, that mom suffered some minor injuries, but again, they are together at the hospital. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions right now. We do know that a news conference is scheduled for about 4:30. Of course, we will be there. We will get you the very latest information. But for now, again, we're just bringing you live images of what is left of that home, barely anything, and still some flames popping up. This is located near the Loop 303 and Cactus Road in Surprise. We're going to take a quick break and we will be back. Of course, follow us online as well, 12news.com. We'll be right back. On a fake electors case appeared in court today, pleading not guilty. 12 News journalist Bram Resnick was there. He joins us live from the newsroom with how it all played out and what's next. Bram?
It's Ram. This criminal case is finally moving forward 3.5 years after an alleged attempt by Donald Trump's allies to throw out the presidential votes of 1.7 million Arizonans. Donald Trump's former lawyer, John Eastman, entered a not guilty plea to 9 felony charges in Maricopa County Superior Court. His appearance lasted less than 5 minutes. It was Eastman's legal theory that underpinned attempts to overturn Trump's 2020 presidential election loss to Joe Biden. The fake electors case gets its name from the 11 Trump electors in Arizona who signed a document presenting themselves to Congress as the legitimate electors in a state that Biden won. The goal was to throw the election results into doubt. According to court documents, after the court hearing, a defiant Eastman said he had zero involvement in the scheme.
I had zero communications with the electors in Arizona, zero involvement in any of the election litigation in Arizona or legislative hearings, and I'm confident that with the laws faithfully applied, I will be fully exonerated at the end of this process.
Most of the remaining defendants, including former Arizona Republican Party Chair Kelly Ward, will be in court for their arraignments at 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday. Several other defendants have been granted extensions until later in May or June. Now, in addition to John Eastman, several Donald Trump allies have also been charged in the fake electors case, including the former president's chief of staff, Mark Meadows. In the newsroom, Bram Resnick, 12 News.
All right, Bram, thank you. We'll have continuing coverage of this case tonight on 12 News at 6, as well as online at 12news.com and on our free 12 News app.
The coach of the Phoenix Suns, Mike Budenholzer. Mike, come on out here and Shazam for you, my friend.
You cannot get a better welcome than that, right? That is legendary Suns broadcaster Al McCoy welcoming the new head coach of the Phoenix Suns back home right here to Arizona. Holbrook's own Mike Budenholzer officially introduced today. And our 12 Sports journalist Lena Washington, you were there, a whole lot of excitement for him. I'm so excited for him to start.
Yes, and so is the whole town of Holbrook, right? A lot of excitement coming from Coach Budenholzer himself as well, as he described this moment as surreal. He even got choked up a couple of times, but Coach Bud said so himself. Talk is cheap. He is all about stacking the days and paying attention to the details in the gym. He's ready to get to work with this team in the hopes of being the coach who brings an NBA championship to Phoenix. We know he did it 3 years ago here, Tram, with the Milwaukee Bucks, but that was, of course, a Bucks in 6 situation when they claimed their first title. But one thing Coach Bud stressed is that his son's team is going to compete. He used that term and that word a lot, and he's going to ask a lot of his players because he believes this is a championship roster. Still some retooling to be done with building the bench, building around Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal, who he's already spoken to. Coach Bud's ready to get to work.
My experience is you got to coach your best players. You got to coach them hard. You got to demand of them. You got to have high expectations for them. And usually they thrive. That's part of what makes them great. They actually want to be coached. They want it. You know, we have some great players, and Devin and Kevin and Brad, you know, they are big time. I think they know that I'm going to have high expectations of them. I'm going to coach them. I'm going to hold them accountable. But that's what I'm going to do with everybody.
Yes, it was really special also to see Coach Bud's friends and family in the building. There were like 3 rows of his family and friends, including his 94-year-old father, Vince, who he's hugging there. He called him the original Coach Bud because he is a high school Hall of Famer in the coaching ranks, winning a state championship for Holbrook High School in 1971, Tram. I mean, you could just see the joy on his face and his partner, Lisa. They're his siblings. He's the youngest of 7 siblings, and you know his kids have to be so proud of him. Now Vince gets to watch his youngest son leading the Suns, and Mike said the biggest lesson he learned from his dad, and James Jones, general manager, picking up on this too: press and play fast.
Yes.
Spoken like a true coach. He just wants to see his son getting his guys out and running, speeding it up there on the court. And we'll have more reaction, of course, on our website, 12news.com/sports, and much more with Coach Bud. Yes, it was so sweet
my gosh.
to see that tender moment with father and son. And then Vince also getting to chop it up with Al McCoy. The reverence there is so special.
I mean, the whole, you know, I'm not worthy, and just the humility.
You love it.
When the coach was talking about, you know, spending the past year year after he was let go with
Milwaukee,
and how he had that family time and just realizing, life and priorities and family. And it was just such a full circle moment.
Such a full circle moment. And wouldn't it be special for him, the kid from small town Arizona, to be the coach that brings the Suns their first championship? He's been a winner everywhere he's gone. So let's see if Coach Bud can get it done. He's
Take
already
us
ready.
there. Yes, I got chills, Lena. Good stuff. I know you're going to have a lot more coming up later on.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Let's give you a live look outside now from our downtown roof cam as triple-digit temps return to the Valley of the Sun. Meteorologist Lindsay Riley joining us now with a quick look at our hour-by-hour forecast for tonight. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, 102 the high today, tied for the hottest day of the year. Tomorrow we'll get a little bit hotter, reaching about 103. Temperatures will stay in the triple digits through the 6 o'clock hour, and then we're just going to be in the 90s until about 10 p.m. tonight, dropping down to 87 by midnight. As you can see here, temperatures 5 degrees warmer than how we were at 4 o'clock yesterday, but because we had some rain in eastern Arizona, we're 12 to 14 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago because we are all basking in the sunshine this afternoon. We're sitting at 102 right now in Phoenix. Triple digits out in western Arizona, even Gila Bend, 69 in Greer, 77 in Show Low. Breezy afternoon. This is going to continue through the rest of the afternoon, and then we will see similar wind gusts throughout the day tomorrow. 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts up in the high country and some 20 mile an hour gusts here in the valley. As far as our wind gusts currently here in the valley, we are looking at 20 to 25, similar both Saturday and Sunday. 102 in Phoenix, 98 at Saguaro Lake and Gold Canyon, and 101 the current temperature in Chandler. Maybe you're planning on being poolside tomorrow by 10 a.m. already. We're going to be at 90 degrees, warming up to 96 at noon, triple digits by 2. Tomorrow's going to be the warmest day of the year so far, reaching a high of 103. Tram?
Lindsay, thanks. Every summer, too many families across Arizona, they deal with the uncertainty about where their next meal will come from. But together with your support, we can really help make a difference. 12 News journalist Rachel Cole joins us live from the United Food Bank as we get ready for our annual campaign, Summer of a Million Meals. Hey, Rachel.
Hey girl, the party is well underway and we are here with DJ Jello. What's up, man?
Hello, how you doing?
We are so good. We want to get fired up and tell people that we are starting with a food drive as well with Summer of a Million Meals.
Yes.
Why do you want people to come on out?
2 reasons. You can't claim to be a part of the community if you're not in the community, and you put children and food insecurity in the same sentence. You got to do something about it.
Absolutely. So we're going to be out here all afternoon. We got swag. If you drive through, drop off some food, get some swag, say hi to Jello, hang out with me if you want to. I don't know, maybe you want to say hi to Paula Norris because she's here from Norris Air. And what have you done today, Miss Paula?
Given 2 pallets of each one of these macaroni and cheese and Nutri-Grain bars for the kids for the summer. We are also challenging every air conditioning company in the valley to give $1 and it gives 5 meals. If you donate $1, it gives 5 meals, and that is a great thing for the community. Air conditioning companies, listen up, please.
Yes. And Norris Air has been in the valley for 50 years, family-owned business, so take that challenge and accept it. Paula, thank you for your donation today. And of course, it wouldn't be the Summer of a Million Meals without Jason Reed. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. So what do you want to tell people about what we're doing here this evening?
Yeah, so Summer of a Million Meals is a campaign to fill the gap in food for families and children over the summer months. So 1 in every 6 children in Arizona are suffering from food insecurity. So
yes,
we're supporting
they
them.
certainly are, and we are supporting them. And 30,000 pounds of food has already come through. So you guys get in the car, drive over, bring some food donations, and look at what we have here, the Mint Dispensary. We've got Raul and Pablo. What's going on, fellas? What do you got here?
We got a check for $2,500 for today.
I love it. And why are you guys giving back to United Food Bank during the Summer of a Million Meals?
You know, it's summer. A lot of kids aren't in school anymore, and that's where a lot of them get a good meal. So we just want to make sure we can do our part to be able to help the community. And, you know, you guys are doing an incredible job, and we just want to do our little piece to be able to help.
I love it. Well, it's a great piece. We're going to let you guys present that check to Jason Reed. Thank you so much. We are having so much fun. You guys, again, like we said, come on by 358 East Javelina Avenue. We are here all afternoon, and you can call the number and donate if you can't swing by and drop off food. Again, say hi to Jello. He's going to be hanging out with us. Hot 97.5, baby. We're going to send it back to you in the studio, but be sure to call that number as well, 480-398-6698. We'll send it back to you.
I love how they are greasing that donation wheel right there for you. Rachel, thank you. The news continues for the next hour on 12 News at 4. Up next, why being bored can actually be good for your kids. Plus, it's Feel Good Friday and pool season's here. So after the break, we're going to be talking about sunscreens. Dermatologist Dr. James Pahoshek, he is joining me in studio to bust 4 of the most popular myths. The news continues throughout the evening all the way to 7 o'clock. And remember, we're always on at 12news.com, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and our social media channels. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are following continuing breaking news on a situation in Surprise that left a baby shot and fighting for its life. Let's listen in to this news conference.
As a result of that, we will be following the West Valley Incident Response Protocols, and we will have detectives from Buckeye and Glendale responding to assume the investigation. But again, the situation here is still ongoing. Our concern right now is for the neighborhood and the residents here. What we are going to ask for them to do is to call the Surprise Police Department non-emergency number at area code 623-222-4000. Again, that number is 623-222-4000. When they call that non-emergency number, they'll be able to get in connection with a dispatcher who can then provide them information or recontact them when it is safe for them to return home.
Sergeant, do you know where the baby was shot, please?
So I can tell you that the baby was shot multiple times in the lower extremities.
What was PD's response when you were outside the home? Did you use flashbangs? Did you use anything that could have ignited the fire?
So all of that will be investigated with the Westford protocols. All of the tactics used right now will be basically summarized and captured by that. So I can tell you that our tactical units that were here were able to confirm that he was inside the residence.
But he's not pulled out, as far as you know, is not in custody.
At this moment, he is not in custody. So once you all were able to see the status of that residence, once they get the clearing to go into that residence, we might have an update on him.
Did this man shoot at officers?
So again, I know you weren't here earlier, but when officers responded, there was multiple rounds of gunfire that came from inside that residence.
What do we know about the father?
So what I can tell you is we aren't releasing his name at this particular moment, but I can tell you we did have one particular investigation involving this same couple that was reported to us 2 weeks ago, and that investigation is still open and ongoing.
Was that also domestic violence related?
All of the incidents are domestic violence related.
And can you clarify, you said during the response, one officer fired one round at the home, is that correct?
So at the information I was just given, literally moments before going on air, was one officer of the initial responding units did fire their weapon.
Could you give an update as to the injuries that the woman who was held hostage had? I know initially you said minor injuries.
So they were minor injuries. We don't know how she was able to free herself. What we do know is she reported that her baby's father entered that residence at 3 o'clock in the morning. She was held there until about 11:30 when she was able to evacuate herself. You can see that this neighborhood is under construction. She was able to contact a construction crew and requested they call 911, and that's when the Surprise Police Department became involved.
And the recent calls that you mentioned, was that to this home or was that just in regards to the suspect?
It was in regards to this particular couple.
PD has technology to see if heat of a person is inside. Were you able to look to see if it appears he's still inside, or could he
So that is ongoing as we're talking right now.
Could he have talking again about the knowing when the fire crews can go in? I know that might be a fire department question, but when it's safe for them to go in or to keep the fire from spreading to other homes anyway?
So again, what I was told was that the fire did not spread to any of the homes. That was information I was looking to get out for everybody before we came on air. But I was told none of the other homes were affected. But again, there was a substantial amount of smoke, so that might be another issue altogether.
Did you tell residents to leave or to shelter in place during the barricades or during the fire?
A number of residents either self-evacuated when they were contacted. Some chose to shelter in place. As the incident progressed, many were asked to leave.
Is there any chance that this suspect could have gotten out of the home during the firefight?
So anything with that would always be under investigation. It is believed right now that the suspect was contained in the home throughout.
And you said that baby...
there was an incident of domestic violence 2 weeks ago, and then you mentioned that the suspect entered a home today. Did they live together? Were they living apart? Did he break in last night?
So the suspect does not live at this residence. The female and the baby, this is their residence. The suspect does not reside here in Surprise.
That baby's on a lot of people's minds. You said they were going into surgery. Is that correct?
That's correct. So again, when officers heard the volleys of fire, when they were approaching, they had already had that confirmation that that child was inside and the mom believed the child was in danger. And so that is when the officers forced entry. Upon forced entry, our understanding is that officers almost immediately located the injured child, took that injured child, got the child to care. With our particular situation here in Surprise, we are very, very lucky that we have a trained fire crew. They're called tactical emergency medics that respond to a lot of these types of calls. We got them to trained professionals who are able to render that immediate aid before the child was airlifted.
Can you tell us the gender of the child?
We're not releasing any of that at this point.
Or where they were taken? Were they taken to Phoenix?
Can't tell you where that.
Could you talk about more information about the domestic violence incident?
So what I can just tell you is active and ongoing. This is information that, again, is fairly new to us. We don't have really a lot of history at this particular residence. And then when that incident was reported, the residence that was affected here, that was not used. But we do have one incident that is currently under investigation outside of today's.
By Surprise Police.
That's correct.
Can you talk about the complexity of this case and I mean, just how many moving parts, how difficult this has been in comparison to other cases?
Well, you can obviously see there's a lot of resources out here. The biggest thing that we want everybody to know is that when a call came into 911, our officers were ready to put themselves in that line of fire, in the danger, for the betterment of that young child. Right now, that child is clinging to life. That child is in surgery. That child has an opportunity to recover, and that is what our officers are focused on right now, is that we provided that child that opportunity to recover. With that, there's a lot of moving parts that are going on. This will be investigated, as I said, by the West Valley Incident Response Team. I cannot tell you at this moment whether or not Buckeye or Glendale will be the primary agency. That information will be coming forward to you. Like I said, we anticipate a full press release later on this evening, and because of the complexity of
domestic
this
violence situation that all unfolded earlier today, here's what we can tell you. New information was just released that that child, that 6-month-old baby, was shot multiple times in the lower extremities, and they still need to determine if that suspect, if that baby's father, was in the home at the time of when that house exploded in flames. Let's give a quick recap for you of what happened earlier in this domestic violence situation happening out of Surprise. At 3 a.m., the father broke into this home that you see that's on fire right here. He held his baby and the baby's mom hostage. At about 11:30 this morning, that mom managed to escape. However, her 6-month-old baby was still inside with the father. Police did manage to get that baby out. However, that baby again was shot multiple times in the lower extremities. That baby was taken to the hospital. That baby is now with its mother. That mother has some minor injuries, and they were not able to see the father at all when they broke into that home to get the baby out of the home. And about 3:30 this afternoon, that is when that house just exploded in flames that you could see for miles, even off the freeway. Again, we do have 12 News journalist Jonathan McCall. He is at the scene. He will bring us another live update and another report coming up in about 20 minutes at 5 o'clock. But for now, we will take a quick break and we'll join you once again for 12 News at 4. Year in a row, 12 News is partnering with the United Food Bank for Summer of a Million Meals to help feed those in need in our community. 12 News journalist Rachel Cole joining us live from Mesa with more on how you can get involved. Hey, Rachel.
Hey, Tram, the energy out here is absolutely unmatched. We have all the volunteers smiling and so happy to be helping and giving back to our community. And oh, by the way, 10 grand just coming in. John from Amazon, talk to me about this amazing donation. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you very much. You know, Amazon's driven by the belief that no family should go hungry. We have over 35,000 employees in the state. They live here, they work here, they give here. And we believe that only through collaboration with great organizations that are here today, great with the United Food Bank, it's the only way we believe we can conquer hunger in the Valley. And our goal is no family goes hungry, because it's hard to deliver smiles when you got an empty stomach.
Absolutely. John, well said. Incredible donation. And obviously, Grace is modeling the big check there. And right next to her, we have Mario with Redbird Farms. How you doing?
Oh, very good, very good. Thank you.
You have donated 100 turkeys. Yes. Why are you giving back to United Food Bank?
Neighbors help neighbors. You know, that's nice slogan.
Absolutely.
And also, I like to say, this is very nice scenery. Touch my heart.
Beautiful. Oh, yeah. Oh, Mario, give me a hug. I love it. Well, thank you for your donation. And it doesn't stop there, by the way. Look at this. Papa John's in the house feeding all of these amazing volunteers this afternoon. Grace, you're like our Price is Right model. I love it. And over here, we have Dylan. Excuse me, sir. What have you got here today?
I have $934 donating to United Food Bank in addition to 570 pounds of food.
Oh my, look at this check. Are you kidding me? That is a custom check if I have ever seen it. And right behind us here, is that the 500 pounds?
Yeah.
You are an absolute boss. Why do you give back to the community?
I give back to the community because they always help me with whenever I need help in different ways. So I like giving back to them however I can.
Amazing young man. How old are you?
I'm 11, almost 12.
Oh my gosh, you are amazing. Future President of the United States, giving back to his community at almost 12 years old. We'll send it back to you. Keep those donations coming. The food drive is kicking up out there with Jell-O. Drive by, get some swag, hang out, give back to the community. Back to you.
Oh, Rachel, Dylan just gave us chills, and we were saying his parents raised him right. All right, great job out there. Thank you. It's a common feeling and is unavoidable. Boredom. It can creep up on all of us, right? Especially kids who are still learning how to temper it. But experts say being bored isn't actually bad. So instead of dodging it, embrace it. Some of the benefits include teaching your kids how to problem solve and manage their emotions. It can also get the little ones to go outside and be physically active, or maybe even tap into their creativity. Finally, boredom helps children learn to be independent. My kids, hopefully they were watching that. On this Feel Good Friday, we are talking about basking in the sun safely. With temperatures rising, more people will be spending time outdoors doing things like lounging at the pool, but having fun in the sun could be harmful to your health if you aren't careful. So as the weather warms, it's a good time to talk about prevention and education around skin cancer. According to the American Cancer Society, skin cancer is by far the most common form of cancer in the U.S. Reducing UV exposure is crucial, so stay in the shade when possible. Also, wear clothing that covers arms and legs, and wearing a hat that covers your face, head, ears, and neck. And of course, you want to regularly use sunscreen. But what's the best kind to buy? Joining me now is dermatologist Dr. James Pahoshek of All Dermatology. All right, at minimum, what SPF should we be wearing considering we live in the Valley of the Sun?
Right, bare minimum 30, but that's recommended by the American Academy of Dermatology and all us dermatologists. 30 is the minimum, but going up to a 50 or 70 or even 100 if you can get it, or is a good idea for multiple reasons. We'll go into later.
50 for me, thank you.
Right.
You don't want to mess around.
Yeah.
You brought some products, and for the record, it's not like you're being sponsored or anything like that, but some of your favorite products here.
Well, what I always tell patients when they ask me is my favorite product is the one you're going to use. So if there's one you particularly like because of the way it feels, the way it smells, whatever, that's great. Some of these, like this one, has a little bit more lighter feel to it. It's a liquidy one, great for the face, tends not to run. And then some of the spray-on ones you showed in the picture there, those work nicely. But you got to put enough of it on. That's why the shot glass isn't here for us to have drinks later.
No.
But a shot glass full is the minimum amount you want to use for face and exposed areas for most people.
Okay, for your body. All right, so I want to go over some myths that we hear all the time, and then you set the record
are a
straight.
lot.
So, first one, you don't need sunscreen if you have dark colored skin.
Yeah, that's not true at all. We see patients all the time. They're not, if you have darker pigment, you're less likely to be burned. You have more natural protection, but you can still get a sunburn and you can still definitely get skin cancer. So it's important, even if you have darker skin tones, wear sunscreen.
Okay, let's go to the second myth. My makeup has sunscreen. That's all I need.
Right. Well, makeup does have sunscreen. A lot of it does these days, pretty much most brands. But again, it's a 30. It's great if you're going in or into the office and you're just driving to work, because that's a place where people don't even think about it. And a lot of people come in and say, well, I didn't get any sun. Well, you just came to the office. You drove in your car. A lot of sun will penetrate glass. So the ultraviolet rays, you can still get sun damage. So a bare, a 30 or a 50 in your sunscreen is great. But if you're going to be outside doing activities, you want to bump that up.
Okay, good to know. Next myth, I don't need sunscreen if it's cloudy or cold.
Yeah, I think we've all thought that was true.
Right.
I know.
And we had some cloudy days a couple days ago. Yeah.
Exactly. So clouds do block out some ultraviolet rays, but it still penetrates through. And again, if you're going to be out hiking or by the pool, it's a cloudy day, wear your sunscreen. It's still very important. And I think cold, I think anybody who's either been out in cold weather, skiing or whatever, or knows somebody, you can get a terrible sunburn.
Yeah.
So cold doesn't do anything to ultraviolet radiation.
Okay, finally, our last myth, all sunscreens are created equal.
Well, that too. The things you want to look for are broad spectrum, UVA, UVB.
Okay.
And you also want water resistant, particularly if you're going to be out by the pool. When you're talking about the bored kids, they a lot of times want to go swimming and things.
Yeah.
So you need water resistant, water protective, sweating if you're working out in the yard. And remember to reapply. So most sunscreens will last for about 2 hours or so. And if you're sweating or swimming a lot, you want to get that reapplied so that you'll get protection. And water doesn't protect you from sun either. So that's another thing. You might think, well,
you
I'm
can
in the
still,
water.
it can still hit through the
It's
water.
the same as the glass in your car. It's
Exactly.
just not going to protect you.
Real quick, do you have a preference between chemical versus mineral? Because you hear those all the time.
Right. I think some people, I put on a multitude, and there's combined products. The one thing I always think about is sometimes the chemical ones are kind of irritating on the face, so I like more of a mineral one for that. But for the all over, the sprays, the chemical ones tend to be a little bit, can be better to use and easier to spread around.
Yeah.
So it's, again, personal preference. If you like one or the other, the mineral ones tend to also have a little bit of a white tint to them. A lot of them come with shading in them or tinting so that they don't look quite as noticeable.
All right, good to know. Dr. James,
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Happy summer. I'll take all of these, thank you. Our in-studio guest on Monday will be a travel expert to talk about local staycation deals ahead of summer. If you need a break, but you don't want to break the bank, make sure you tune in to 12 News at 4 on Monday. It's Money Saving Monday for some expert travel tips that could save you some cash. Lindsay, over to you.
All right, let's check out those temps because today tied for the hottest day of the year so far, and tomorrow we turn even hotter. We're at 102 right now in Phoenix, 99 Saguaro Lake, 103 in Gilbert, and 102 out toward Buckeye. Tomorrow we're going to hit 103 in Phoenix. Lots of triple digits across the lower deserts. Also all of western Arizona, mid-70s even at the Grand Canyon. It is going to be a completely dry Saturday, sun-filled. The high country 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts. Here in Phoenix, 20 mile per hour gusts expected. Even on Sunday, we make it up to the century mark, and then much of next week slightly above average by a degree or two, but we will be in the mid to upper 90s between Monday and Friday of next week. Here's that Arizona high country forecast. Saturday and Sunday completely dry. Tomorrow's the warmer of the 2 days this weekend, and we turn a bit windier on Monday. Tram?
All right, Lindsay, thank you. In about 2 minutes, our 12 News shout out of the week. To submit one for next Friday, just email us at shoutout@12news.com. We'll be right back. We are excited to kick off our annual food drive, Summer of a Million Meals, where we partner with the United Food Bank to help the hungry. 12 News journalist Rachel Cole live in Mesa with how you can help. Hey, Rachel.
Hey, girl, we are partnering, yes, with United Food Bank for Summer of a Million Meals, 7 years strong. And Jello, what do you got here?
I got some pizza. Listen, the most food and monetary donations gets a free pizza party from Papa John's, up to 100 pizzas, and you can actually get 20% off of your pizza. Go to papajohns.com and use promo code MillionMeals. Get some
Look
pizza.
at this, a lovely cheese pizza. Kevin McAllister would be jealous. Jesse, is that true?
It is true. Even better, you'll get 20% off and we'll donate 10% back to Million Meals.
Oh my gosh. So call now. It's Friday night. It's pizza night. We got Jason over here. Oh my gosh, I totally want to bite of that. Jason, the cars are rolling through. You guys come through and donate. So how important is it to also get the products as well as the monetary?
Yeah, so every donation, every can, every box of food makes a tremendous difference for a family who needs it this summer.
I love it. And you said $1 goes how far?
Yeah, $1 provides up to 5 meals for a family who needs it. So, and many families are in need this summer.
So amazing. And what do you want to say to the community out there who's thinking about maybe I'll drive by on my way home tonight and donate?
Yeah, come on down here, right here to Mesa at Javelina Avenue, and we'd be happy to accept your contribution. So thank you.
Thank you, Jason. You guys keep it coming. Anything that you want to donate. And don't forget about that awesome Papa John's pizza party, the most funds or food donated. We'll send it back to you in the studio. Jello! Yeah, let's get it. Pick up some swag.
Digging the Jello dance. All right. Thank you so much, you guys. It is time now for our 12 News shout out of the week. We want to give a big shout out to Major Ray McPherson, Air Force Junior ROTC instructor from Peoria High School. Wants to give a big one to 4 of his cadets who recently got some serious air time. Literally. Sonia Brown, Gabriella Regalado, Bishop Stevens, and Daniel Stressing. They all got the opportunity to fly in a private plane with a pilot and even have a turn flying the plane themselves. Now, this course will help these high school students earn their pilot's license at a very young age. Way to go, you guys. Great job. Don't go away. After the break, how student loans and inflation rates are maxing out Gen Z. 1 in 7 Gen Z credit card borrowers have maxed out their credit limit. That's from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, which also says credit card delinquencies have surpassed pre-pandemic levels and continue to rise. The Fed says part of the reason Gen Z borrowers are maxed out is because they have much lower credit limits. Many younger Americans haven't had the time to build credit histories and credit scores that would let them borrow more. For now, here's Mark and Caribe with more on 12 News at 5.
All right, Tram, thanks. We're starting with our continuing coverage of this tragic situation out of Surprise, where a 6-month-old baby is in surgery right now after being shot multiple times earlier today in a domestic violence incident. The home this all happened in is gone, burned to the ground. This is 12 News at 5. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Caribe Devine. 12 News.